Right, since you asked me, the poems have been percolating through my head like water through limestone. And my mother and father had their birthday on the 1st of March. They also died in March. So it's mother and father poems you're going to get, I'm afraid, just because they're there. Because they had the same birthday, and I grew up into the 70s. And in the 70s, everybody asked you what your star sign was before they actually asked you your name. And I thought that to be married, you had to find a person with the same birthday as you. And I thought, oh no, you're the 14th of July, oh, a day away. So anyway, that's got nothing to do with anything. This is called My Mother's Hands. My mother's hands, washing potatoes, washing kids, washing pans. My mother's hands on bitterly cold days, pegging yet more washing on a pregnant line. The line grown nothing but nappies, her hands blind with the cold. My mother's hands, ironing clothes, ironing countless knickers for my 7 sisters. My mother's hands, taking my hands in hers, such love, such laughter. My mother's hands, patting talcum powder on another baby's bum. Mum being mum. Me kissing my mother's hands for all they've done. Thank you. And how can I forget my mother's mind? So this is called Me Mam's Mind. If you fall off of that wall and break both your legs, don't come running to me. Could never understand my mam's mind and how it worked. One moment she had half a mind to come up there and get me off that wall. Then she was in 2 minds about whether to tell me to stop. Go ahead and kill yourself. See if I care. I'm warning you, child. If you fall off that wall and kill yourself, I'll personally come up there and murder you myself, so I will. I used to watch the words climbing out of her mouth and fly around the room, looking for a place to land in my mind. Never cared whether she gave out. I just loved everything she said, the music of her and how she made the words behave. I came down and kissed her worry away. I'm sorry, ma'am, I told her, and she cried. And this is one of my books. It's called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. Now, as well as having my own lovely mother Rita, I had Mrs. Sweeney up the road, who was also my mammy. My Aunt Mary down in Cork, who was my mammy. And as a little chap, I didn't know anything about sex or babies. Jan is bringing me up to speed on that now. I'm getting better now, Jan. Not bad now. And my definition of a mammy was an emotional one. I thought a mammy was anybody who loved you to that great nth degree. And by that emotional definition, my dad was the best mammy I ever had. But this is called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. Mrs. Sweeney was Jerry Sweeney's mammy. And even though I had my own, I had her on loan. It was like having a spare mammy. And even when she was mad with us, she just couldn't be mad with us. Go on, she'd grin. Go on. You'd wear the heart out of a stone. And if you fell and you were crying, heart and knee badly grazed, or a bum badly bitten by a bee, she would hug you up with all herself. Come here to me, you poor little dote. Wrap you up in so much love it would last for years. For years. Jerry Sweeney was my best friend ever. Way back in the way back then. Still is. Nothing's changed. Except us old fellas, us young fellas have become old fellas who still think they're young fellas. And every time I see him, I could almost cry. I can still see his mammy smiling out of his eyes. Now my dad, I love my dad to bits. He was getting very sick. I was home and he started coughing in the night and he wouldn't stop coughing. So I went into him, and this is called, he was born in the old head of Kinsale. Big cliffs, and he used to lie in his belly looking down at the waves, and my grandmother was terrified in case he'd fall down because lots of sheeps did. Then he'd run down to Mrs. Fitz and she had a big gramophone record and she'd put on Over the Waves, an instrumental at the time, which became the loveliest night of the year. So, wild waves crashing about the old head of Kinsale. I scramble into your bed like I do when I was 2 or 4 or more. Rub your back for you, my 95-year-old child, until sleep gathers you in. Just like you did for me when I was your little boy. I listen to you as slowly, slowly your dreams capture you. I love your each and every breath. I da 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 over the waves, and you smile. And when you awake 2 hours later, there I am, still rubbing your back. You smile and tell me your mother would do the same when you were a tiny boy. Wild waves crashing about the old head of Kinsale. So here we all are, the back rubbers of the ages, all in one place, sharing different times, comforting, soothing, easing all the pain. Wild waves crashing about the old head of Kinsale. Then my sister, I was talking to my class one time, and they said, "What did you watch when you were our age, sir?" And I said, "On telly." And I said, "We didn't have a telly." How could you not have a telly? We were 7 before I got a telly. We never had a phone. So they couldn't believe this and said, "What did you do?" So this is what I did with my big sister Judy. Midnight, tips the candle slowly, slowly until the pain is bearable. Our fingers scream, wax stealing our fingerprints. We laugh in the dark, peel off each other's fingerprints. They lie there, alien animals cooling on a saucer. Sleep finds us wearing each other's fingerprints. You, me, I, you. Years later, not even death can steal you from me. Then my little girl. This is called Outrunning the World. You ran and the world couldn't keep up with you. Here in your 3rd year, you discover falling, as if the world had tripped you up. You look at your grazed knee, amazed at yourself. Blood oozes from your chubby little skin. I cry. You don't. You are just amazed that there is an inside to you that can somehow leak out. You dip a finger in, taste the redness. Your laughter is a spring that bubbles out. You cannot understand my tears, my feeling your pain on your behalf, or in this case, your not pain. "Daddy, not cry," you comfort me. You dry my eyes with golden curls. "Tilly, run again, see?" And you do so to prove a point. And once again, you are immortal, outrun the world, leaving your father farther and farther behind you. You run into your future, become yourself. A tiny scar, the only reminder of a pain only I can remember. This is called Brushstrokes. Her voice caresses him in Japanese, the syllables of his name enacted out by the brushstrokes of her voice, as if she drew him in mid-air and he hung there, alive in the calligraphy of her love. And this is my only Italian poem. I don't know any Italian, but I was on holiday in Amalfi and I thought, what can be so hard? I'll get a dictionary, I'll write a poem in Italian. Believe it or not, both the Italian version of this poem, I then translated my own poem into English, and the Italian got printed as well. And all my Italian friends said, "My God, your Italian is shit." So, I'm not going to read you the Italian, all right? This is called Come a Vienna, Vienna. What comes, comes. Chef's surprise on the menu. The sun is preaching her sermon to the town of Praiano that clings to the cliffs in wonder. Here in her hand of light and water, she tells the parables of pebbles. One wave waves to another as she walks upon the water. Bells undress time, disrober of her hours. Lemons grow big-bellied on branches, pregnant with yellow. The juice of the future praying in a church of trees. Here a congregation of butterflies and bees. Grapes dream of being turned into wine. Figs ripen with pleasure. The gods of pagan times survive disguised as statues. I only believing in the religion of my woman's laughter. And even now, as darkness grows upon the rose, it's as if the sunlight never leaves, only changes colour. And the sunlight darkens only to blossom into the next morning in love with time. Jerry Sweeney's Mammy, once again, this is my 60th year. And I started to write all the various Dónalls from 1 to 60. But everybody started dying on me, so it became a very sad book instead. But I was an agency teacher, and you often get to be agency teacher, and there's no work set out for you, and you have to hoof it. And it's no good saying to the kids, "What did you do the last time?" Because they'll say, "We didn't do nothing," or "We don't know, sir." And they're all in a block insisting on that. And one little very obese boy at the bottom of the class, said, "Please, sir, we was doing the spinach." And I said, "Yes, yes, the spinach armada." And I said, "Right, the spinach armada. What were you doing?" I didn't want to go there. So I said, "What were you doing the other day, Dan?" Mass quietness. Obese little boy at the bottom of the class put up his hand and said, "Please, sir, we were doing Anne of Cleavage." And I thought, I definitely don't want to go there. So the next day I bought in a whole lot of spinach, put it in the class, and Seville oranges, and we bombarded the spinach armada with oranges. I then went, then went into year 8, and they were all reading. They were reading A. Milne's Now We Are 6, and everybody was speaking in pirate language, OR. And I was thinking, and we were miles away from National Pirate Day, but they were just trying to throw me off, so I dived into them doing that. So now we are 60. A year 8 child inquires how old I be. "I be just 60. He gasps, "My God, you're very active for 60. 60 for him is a distant planet in a galaxy far, far from here. Yea, another dimension. I smile my 60-year-old smile perfected by now. I am starlight that will only reach him when he himself is 60, if he ever remembers what he has long ago forgotten." And this is called Sharing Winged Birds. A moon the colour of sorrow, rain falling like regret, the memory of your beauty awakened by the music that tiptoes on moonlight feet, slowly, silently across the moon-coloured lawn. A cat immune to human emotion yawns, silhouetted against an autumn moon. He listens to our human words, more out of boredom than anything else, as if we were characters in a play, enacting the words that will be forever spoken. Let us be sharing winged birds, that thing of legend, with only one eye, only one wing. Only by sharing wings can we fly. Chiselled into a night gone by, the words remain engraved upon the air. The cat wonders, how do humans do that, and why? He pads quietly true and true the words, the memory of us bristling his fur. Thank you.